Paulus Berensohn, Artist Educator. What an understatement. Before us sits a man who grew up in New York City to become a dancer, finding himself in the company of John Cage, dancing with Martha Graham and Merce Cunningham, writing in space with his airborne body. Then, the epiphany. By happenstance, he found himself at The Land, an annual summer picnic of Black Mountain expatriate artists, where he saw through a window Karen Carnes throwing a pot. He saw the dance in clay dance. In this new material, he found a lifelong dance partner, grounded in the actual earth beneath his feet, smoothed between his fingers, pressed to his knee, pushed into his elbow. He made pots that grew, part pod, part plant, part bone, to be in immediate conversation with the earth itself. His body and clay body merged. In 1969, Cynthia Bringle invited Paulus to Penland, where they taught a kiln building workshop. Bill Brown invited Paulus to stay on as a resident, and so began Paulus's lifelong commitment to Penland, our monastery of the hand. He spent his Penland residency writing Finding One's Way with Clay, photographed by True Kelly. It was published in 1972, and he changed the course of American ceramics with a book that remains in print today. And in our school store, by the way, signed by the author. If this was all he had done with his one wild and precious life, as his friend, the poet Mary Oliver, would say, wouldn't that have been enough? Today, we could acknowledge Paulus's many awards and his prestigious teaching sites and publications, but I wanted us to consider instead how he teaches simply by living among us and wondering. Paulus doesn't impart knowledge in the classical sense of schooling. He uses a profoundly different model. Paulus educates through wondering, together. Here's the marvelous thing. He considers anyone beside him to be part of the search for possible answers, regardless of age or experience. And in the very permeable walls of our Penland school, Paulus's effect seeped into every studio. Often he posed a question gleaned from poems and carried that question to whomever he met. For example, what does it mean to follow a line? Or, what exactly is the more than human world? Or, how far do our antennae extend out from our bodies, the ones the poet William Stafford names? Could you lengthen that antenna? When you walk along with someone who thinks like this, your own questions begin to change. Now, where does one ponder barely visible questions like these? For Paulus, the journal became the nomadic, ever-present studio, a place he named Soul's Kitchen, that place where whatever is drawing your attention could mingle with everything else on those pages and help you see where the soul is leading you. Make a space for everything you are, without judgment, inside the journal pages, and the next question will present itself. Along the way, he introduced us all to his concept of the green growing tip of our being, hungry for light. How do you feed that tip, he would ask. And the notion of guiding fictions, not lies, but inventions from the imagination to get you to the next place. He believes in the yes of life and in the power of language. Hear the art in heart, he would ask. He believes in slow. He believes in one stitch at a time. He believes in our body as part of the earth, and that paying full attention to the world around us is our true work as artists. The Paulus effect was particularly felt by the children lucky enough to walk a bit of the way with him, the ones who came for a day or decades. He dubbed himself fairy godfather to scores of children, all who thought he was Yoda come to earth at last. Please Help me welcome our one-of-a-kind, the astonishing Paulus Berensohn.